Welcome to another edition of Buffalo Healthy Community Show. I'm Phil Haberstroh from the Wellness Institute, your host. We're really excited about our show today. We have two groups that are going to be with us. Kind of an intergenerational approach to improving the quality of life in Buffalo. And to my immediate left, and with good smiles on their faces, are Mercy and Dante from the International Prep School at Grover Cleveland High School. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Great. I'm going to start with Mercy, who is an old friend, because Mercy and I have been working together on the Sexual Health Education Committee that Sue Ventresca and others are working on that. Mercy, could you, for our viewers, just introduce yourself a little bit, give them a little background about yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Mercy Walelo. I go to International Prep at Grover. I am a senior, and I'm also the secretary of my senior class.
Secretary of your senior class. All right. Well, I understand our guest to the far left. Okay. Dante, if you would share a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, my name is Dante Doolin, and I also go to International Preparatory at Grover. And I'm actually senior class president.
Oh, so you two are both in charge of the school, right? I think your principal will have something to say about that, right? So, well, part of the reason that we have you both here, and we're so pleased to have you both here with us today, and is that I know recently you had an experience, maybe of the lifetime, a young lifetime so far, with a group called the Close-Up Foundation.
Yes.
Mercy, can you start and give us a little feel? What is the Close-Up Foundation, at least your understanding of it?
Well, to my understanding, Close-Up is an organization that works just to give students from all over the nation and sort of like an introduction with their government. It brings them to Washington for about five days out of the week, and just immerses them into the whole political arena, how things run in D.C., how they work, and kind of gives them a first step into Washington.
Wow. And Dante, you and Mercy both were part of a recent delegation that went down. I know our friend Sarah Emhoff helped to make this happen. What was your first impression of Washington when you got there, Dante?
I was a small fish in a big pond.
A small fish in a big pond,
yeah.
right?
The buildings were remarkable. It's such great architectural work there, and to just visit our state, our capital, was just a blessing on my part.
Right. I know, as both you and Mercy probably, Mercy, you've been there before, but I can remember, Dante, the first time I was there, I had a real sense of the power of that too. That this is almost really the global center of the world in some people's point of views, anyways, and not everything. Mercy, share with us a little bit about what you did during the days that you were there. Maybe just give us a little feel for kind of some of the activities you were involved with.
Well, we had a jam-packed week. We had a lot of stuff to do. We toured a lot of sites. We went to the different memorials. We went to the different war memorials, the Jefferson memorials, all the president memorials. We went and toured those. We kind of had like an educational lesson with each memorial that we went to. Well, my favorite part of the whole thing was Capitol Hill Day, because we went to Capitol Hill and we got to talk to the staff of our representatives. Whose staff in particular did you speak with? We spoke to Senator Schumer's staff and Senator Gillibrand's staff.
Wonderful.
We talked to Chris. We talked to Chris Lee's staff also. We also talked to my representative, who I just forgot his name now.
Mr. Higgins?
Yes, Mr. Higgins. I'm sorry. We also talked to his staff, which I liked his staff the best, actually.
Dante, now that sounds like a political endorsement to me. We got to be careful here.
I'm also going to back her and endorse Brian Higgins' ass.
You enjoyed it. Dante, tell me about, when you talked with Congressman Higgins' staff, what kinds of issues did you raise with them?
Mostly Buffalo area issues, such as the casino, such as the area basis canal, educational issues with Dr. Williams and how everything's playing out with him. And basis on that issues. They did a great job responding to our questions too also.
Did you find when you were there, I mean, did you get a chance to go in and see Congress in session? During the 5 days that you were there?
Actually wasn't in session, but we actually got to sit in both the Senate and the Congress House. So it was a great experience.
Right. Okay. Were there any things, Mercy, that surprised you about your visit to Washington? Something that just kind of knocked you off your, your chair, so to speak, that you weren't really expecting?
Well, I guess the fact that people actually do work,
That's beautiful.
No, because sometimes, like, I never really thought that they worked. I thought, I don't know what I thought they did, but they actually do work. There's a lot of paperwork involved. That's why, actually, I commend them for that. And also, people who just live in D.C. are very, very politically involved. They do a lot of stuff. If people want to protest, if they want to stand in proxy for something and support something, they do it. And it's almost like if you live in D.C., it's your right to be involved in government. Right.
Dante, you've been in City Hall.
Yes.
Yes, in Buffalo. And have you attended a council meeting there ever? Have you had the chance to do that?
We actually have. We, with actually our Hawaiian annexation piece that we're doing for a New York History Project, we actually have got I would say a law passed, and we sat in council as well.
Really?
A law was passed.
Okay.
So
you both have had some kind of experience as citizens, okay? And I know, I'm thinking maybe you're not quite yet 18 yet, but you'd be pretty close to it. So you're pretty much ready to vote, okay?
I got my voter's registration card. And
right. Super. And yours is coming soon, right?
Yes.
You don't have to disclose it yet.
No, but I have sat with the Buffalo Common Council for the with their educational committee, because I'm involved with Inter-High Student Council, so I get to sit in for that.
Right, yeah. And you feel that you've had the ability in Buffalo to influence positively a piece of legislation that you thought was important. What do you think about your ability as citizens to influence national legislation? I'll start with you, Dante. Where's your head on? Because what I hear so often, many of us hear out in the streets, is my voice doesn't count, my opinion doesn't matter. What are your feelings on that?
Well, that was basically the focus point of Close Up. That was more to get us involved, as build young political leaders. And with that, we did visit our Capitol Hill Day, and we just tried to build young leaders as a basis. We went out and like I said, we visited our committees from each district to get us involved, to say that, this is where we started off. We started as an intern. We came from all walks and different backgrounds. Some people, parents wasn't involved in politics, others was. But they all just came to politics. Someone actually told me they was being a teacher, but they actually got into politics, and it actually was an internship. And then they got hired at Brian Higgs' office. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It's just making a start.
So my sense of what you're sharing with us is that you feel that there are ways for our young people, particularly, to be involved in our decision-making and civic life in Buffalo, but also even to the point that you can influence the national agenda. Yes. Mercy, one of the things that we often talk about with young people here in the city is the future of Buffalo. What is your if you were mayor for a day, what is your feeling about direction and things that you would like to see happen to make our good city even a better city?
Well, I know something that I'm real passionate about is, I know it's been talked about for years, but actually building the waterfront and actually making something great out of it. I think there's been a lot of talk for a lot of years, and it's just that, it's talk. There's no doing going on. And I was happy when UB 2020 passed through the Assembly, and New York State Congress passed it. So I'm happy about that. We're going somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And now I just want us to build Buffalo. I mean, we aren't going to necessarily restore it back to what it was, but we can do a good job of making it better. But
it can be the best it can be, and in a different way. Dante, how about you? What is your sense of direction and priorities from your perspective for Buffalo's future?
Well, I would love to get involved in Buffalo politics. I actually would like to run for mayor later on in my career.
Okay. We will tell everybody we heard it first right here on this show. That's super.
So I just really want to get involved in Buffalo. I love this city. It's a wonderful city. We have such caring people here, and as we're known as a city of good neighbors. So just to get involved and just build our city up to something, not as New York, because we're not as you know, angry motorist drivers as they are, the more caring.
Right.
But just to get involved and just build that city into something.
And let me explore with each of you just a little bit. We have a few minutes left. Mercy, your immediate future. You're going to graduate from international prep this year. What do you think the next steps will be for you?
The next step for me is college. I actually applied to 13 schools. I've heard back from 4.
13.
All acceptance letters, and I'm waiting for 9 more. So when I hear back from that, then I'll make my decision.
Great. And Dante, how about you? The next kind of short-term steps for you is before you become mayor.
It's immediate college. I'm going right into college. Hopefully, I'm going to UB, but if not UB, I'm going into Buff State College.
And at UB, what field would you study?
I'm studying business.
Business.
Yes,
Great.
which actually me and Mercy takes a business class now at UB called the MICE program.
Wonderful. Yeah. That's beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you both on.
Thank you for
I
having
appreciate it. I'm going to look forward to the future in Buffalo because of young people like yourselves. And we're going to be right back. We're going to be talking with some people from the Flair community, if you're familiar with the Fillmore-Leroy area. We're going to have Bill Johnson and Dr. Lynn Rivers from DeUville College who are going to tell us about a terrific collaboration that's helping the Flair community to become empowered and enjoy a better quality of life. So stay with us and come right back.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm going to look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to Buffalo's Healthy Communities Show. I'm Phil Haberstroh from the Wellness Institute, your host. I promised you earlier in the show that we would have a very exciting second half, and to my left are 2 of my good friends from the Buffalo community, Dr. Lynn Rivers from DeUville College. Lynn.
Good to see you, Phil.
And Bill Johnson from the Flair community. We're going to talk about a partnership here in a few seconds that you 2 have done. But Lynn, if you can, just for our viewers, give them a little bit about yourself and your background so that they get to know you a little bit.
I sure will. It's so much my pleasure to be here today, Phil. My name is Lynn Rivers, and I'm a practicing physical therapist and a teacher at DeUville College in the physical therapy program, where I serve as chairperson. But I'm here today as a 9-year member of the Near East and West Side Task Force of Buffalo, which is a advocacy group that I've been thrilled to be a part of, and I serve currently on their board of directors and serve on as chair of their health committee.
Great, super. And Bill, I know that you're a familiar face to the family and the community and the Flair community, but can you also, just for our wider audience, share a little bit about yourself and your background?
Well, my name is, as you know, Bill Johnson. I'm on the board of directors of Flair. I'm a past president of the board of directors of Flair, and I'm very concerned about our neighborhood and our area and Buffalo.
Great. Bill, just again, then maybe give us a little sense. Tell us a little bit about Flair. It's what it's doing and who's involved with it, if you would.
Well, Flair, what we do, we're strictly a neighborhood organization. We have a senior citizen program. We have a program for after-school kids. We have all the different programs. We have an excellent housing program.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is renovate and build up this neighborhood because it's been neglected.
Right.
And I guess because of the economy and so forth. And all I'm interested in is trying to get the people in the Flair area to be more responsive to what we do at Flair.
And I know when you and I have talked about this a little bit, you've talked about the importance of the community being active and getting involved.
Well, it's very important, but as you know, the Flair area is a very depressed area. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of people that feel left out of the process. We got kids that don't have decent places to play. We have parents, old folks that's taking care of children, and it's a depressed area, and we need help. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm interested in.
And one of the ways that partnerships is a great way to bring about improvements. Lynn, can you talk a little bit about how the Near East and West Side Task Force and the Flair community came together?
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said before, our task force, although I didn't clarify, is comprised of representatives from the health systems. We have representation on our task force of some of the third-party payers, the insurance companies that cover health care, and several not-for-profit organizations that are also committed to health as well as education. And so we committed ourselves, the task force, and thought long and hard about it, but committed ourselves to work with Mr. Rich Lee, the executive director of the block clubs, on an initiative that he had envisioned, creating promised neighborhoods as per President Barack Obama's initiative that he began as a community organizer, where it was essential that neighbors are connected to neighbors, that neighbors understand how they can help each other and pool their resources, and as well that they become connected to healthcare providers and insurance companies, and we better understand how to meet their needs at a very neighborhood to door-to-door kind of level.
And that's a critical piece, and I know, Bill, you and I have talked about this, and Lynn also, and with the neighbors in the meetings that we've had at Flair so far, excuse me, about how important it is to, as some of the neighbors said to me, Phil, to hear our truth, to develop the relationship that is necessary for us in the partnership to move forward. Is that consistent with what you think is necessary for success?
I think it's a great idea, and I think this thing can work. But we, as the people in the neighborhood, is going to have to respond to it. And that's what I'm interested in getting, is the people responding to the ideas and so forth of the doctor here and yourself.
Right. And Lynn, what are some of the things that we know, I know from a research standpoint, that you have looked at the Flair community and you've identified some disparities, if you would, in health status. Can you speak a little bit to that?
I sure can. Certainly data is available, data is available at the state level as well as the national level, but we absolutely have looked at the neighborhood of Flair, and what we know immediately is that the incidence of some chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes